Okay. Hello and welcome to our webinar, which is an information session for Japanese applicants of the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network. And so I am Jennifer Dunn. I'm a network development specialist at Salzburg Global Seminar, and I help manage this program. And I'm joined here with my colleague Matu, who also works on the program, and Remo Sugimoto and Yumiko Mori, who are both fellows of Salzburg Global Seminar, who are part of the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network and took part in cohort 2. And so if we could move on to the next slide. This is a brief agenda for our meeting today for our webinar. I'll start by saying hello to you all, which I've done now. Then I'll give a very brief introduction to Salzburg Global Seminar, which is our organization which is running the program. I'll then give a short introduction to the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network. You can find a lot of the information about the program on our website, so I will not go into very much detail on that. And then I'll hand over to Remo and Yumiko, who will share their experiences of being part of the program and just give you a bit of an idea of what it's like to be part of JITN, so we call it JITN for short. Yeah, so you can hear firsthand what that is like. And then we'll have some time for question and answers at the end of the program. And we have a question and answer function, which you should have access to. So if you want to type any questions that you have in there, please do so. As I say, much of the information you need should be on our website, but if not, we're very happy to answer your questions. Just another sort of point of information, this webinar is a general recruitment information session for the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network. We have designed the program to be targeted at Japanese citizens and people who live in Japan. That doesn't mean that the information isn't relevant to potential Indian applicants, but we find that our Japanese fellows tend to have more questions about the program, and we have far smaller numbers of Japanese people applying for the program, and so we would like to increase that, and that is why we're running this webinar specifically targeted at Japanese people. But that doesn't mean that more nationalities are not welcome and that the information shouldn't be relevant to a wider audience. So just to give you some context as to why we are having a Japanese focused webinar, that is why. Please maybe move to the next slide, Matu. And so a brief history of Salzburg Global Seminar. Salzburg Global Seminar is the organization which runs in partnership with the Nippon Foundation, the JITN program. And my colleague Matu is just posting a link to our website in the chat there. And so we're an independent nonprofit organization. We were founded in 1947 by 3 Harvard students who you can see in this picture here. The organization was founded post-war with the aim of bringing people together who had been on all of the different difficult sides of the Second World War conflict. And these 3 students felt that there was a need to heal the emotional and intellectual wounds of Europe, as well as rebuilding the infrastructure of Europe, rebuilding the cities, and so on and so forth. And so they brought people together. There's a much longer and more interesting story, but I'll give you the short version. They brought about 100 young people together in our palace, which is Schloss Leopoldskron. You saw a photo of that on the first slide. And they spent 6 weeks discussing, at the time, American literature. And this was what they used as a method for bringing all of these different people across different divides together to begin having conversations again after such a difficult conflict. 76 years on, we're still bringing people together in the palace in Schloss Leopoldskron, but we now do this across sectors, across geographies, and across generations on a number of different topics, including peace and justice, education, culture and the arts, health, finance and governance. We have about 20 to 30 programs a year. And at this stage have had over 40,000 fellows come through our doors. Fellows is the term that we use to describe participants of our program. And once you've participated in one of our programs, you are a fellow, and you're a fellow for life. So essentially, we're bringing people together to allow them to have exchange, to have dialogue, to learn new ideas, and to begin collaborating with each other to bring about individual, institutional innovation and change. Next slide, please, Matu. And so the reason you're all here is to learn about the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network. As I said, we currently are recruiting for cohort 3 of this program. The program aims to connect new technology with social challenges in the field of health and healthcare, inclusion, accessibility and mobility, and livable communities. So the reason, the goals of the program are to bring together grassroots social challenges, people who are working at the grassroots level, potentially as activists, as educators, as project managers, so on and so forth, with people who are working in technology, to bring the power of technology to these areas that are so often neglected by technological change. So we see that technology is having a lot of influence in the corporate sector, in, for example, the military sector, but those groups of people who are most vulnerable are often not receiving that same power from the technology. And so what this program aims to do is balance out that that imbalance of power between those who have technology and those who do not. And so we encourage a broad spectrum of people, from those, as I say, working at the most sort of grassroots level, right up through those who are implementing technology, those who are writing policy, and then into those who are really working on purely technical aspects of work. The program aims to expand thinking and experience. So for people to learn new ideas, new ways of working that they otherwise would not have the opportunity to be exposed to. And through that new thinking, through that exposure, we believe this encourages new types of thinking and inspiration. And then as the program progresses, we encourage people to begin collaborating with each other to design human-centered empathic technology. So technology that is really supporting those who it is designed to, rather than technology which is designed because it can be. And so the idea is that it's very much rooted in the challenges and in the communities that it's trying to help. And we're also aiming to build a network of like-minded change makers across India and Japan. India and Japan are certainly considered by many people to be the leaders in technology in the Asian region. There are two countries which already work together quite a lot, and Salzburg Global Seminar and the Nippon Foundation are keen to encourage India and Japan to work more together. In the 3 to 4 years we've been running this program, we found that both countries, despite their apparent differences, are facing many similar challenges, and they also have very complementary skill sets within the countries that make them very good collaborators. And so that is the reasons why we're bringing together India and Japan. Next slide, please, Matu. And so here we can just see some photos of cohort 2 meeting at Salzburg Global Seminar. So this is the kind of thing you could be doing if you're part of the program. The program begins in late 2023 with online meetings, and then we meet online for 6 months until the group will come together in May in Salzburg in the palace. We spend a lot of time having group discussions. We have many beautiful rooms and venues where this can take place, as you can see on the screen. And then following the program, we hope that there will be a good number of projects developed, and that these will then be able to continue through on afterwards through online meetings and potentially in-person meetings, depending on the situation of the program. So next slide, please. And here are just some key dates for the recruitment. The deadline to apply is September 15th. The program starts online in late 2023. I can't say for certain when that will be, but it will be either late November, early December. Fellows will typically meet 1 to 2 times a month online between late 2023 and May 2024. The meetings tend to be about 90 minutes long and will typically happen in the late afternoon in India, early evening in Japan. And then fellows will meet in Salzburg from May 20 to 24 in 2024. So those are the key dates, and these are all possible to be found on the website, which Madhu has shared in the chat. And now what I would like to do, if you could go to the next slide, please, Madhu, is hand over to two of our fantastic fellows, Remo and Yumiko, who are going to share their experiences of being on the program. So with that, we'll stop sharing our slides, and Remo, we will pass over to you.
Thank you for your introduction, Ms. Dunn. I'm going to share my screen. So today I will briefly introduce my experience at JITDN program. And before starting my introduction, I'd like to say thank you for the organizers who organized this program and gave me this precious opportunity. It was a life-changing experience for me to join this program, and I learned a lot of things from this program. All of the participants in the program were very inspiring, and they are coming from different backgrounds and they have different specialties. Common passion, which is to make the society better. And the biggest gain from this program for me was to be able to meet my new partner through this program. He is an Indian entrepreneur who develops mobile applications to detect children's autistic traits and connect them with the therapists online. And I myself am working at a company in Japan which supports the adults with severe autism. So together we believe we can collaborate and make a new technological solution to the existing problems. So we decided to form up a team and made a final presentation together. Our idea we presented was to create an online platform where parents with autistic kids can get home-based therapies online, anywhere, anytime. And after the program, we have been still meeting online regularly every week to discuss and develop our ideas further. And we are planning now to conduct a survey to parents and caregivers and to understand their challenges more detail and also to validate our ideas. And hopefully we will create a prototype and realize our project ideas happen in the reality. And one of the highlights, I have many highlights from the program, but I had to choose one. It was the inclusive atmosphere of this program. Actually, there were 2 participants who were deaf, and during the program, there were 3 interpreters, and their voices were included in the discussion. And it was my first time to talk with deaf persons in my life. So I learned a lot of things about their life, their challenges, and so on. And during the program, there was an opportunity for all of the participants to learn about sign language from the deaf participants. And everyone was very curious about the two deaf participants and asked many questions to them. And it was very interactive and it was very peaceful and heartwarming. And I really liked that moment. And yeah, so I got several questions from the organizers today, and one of them was how I managed the program with my work. Actually, for me, I didn't really have to manage because the program itself was very related to my job. So in my case, from January to June, there were 6 online meetings, but it was conducted at night. So I joined the meetings after my work. So there was no influence on my work. And I had spent only 3 or 4 hours every month for this program. And for the in-person program from July 9th to 13th, I was allowed to participate in the program as a job. So my company was willing to help me and allowed me to take leaves. So there was no impact on my job in my case. And that's all from my side. And I'm very happy to answer all of the questions from the participants if they have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Remo. It was lovely to hear your reflections on your experience. And Yumiko, why don't we pass over to you?
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. I'm Yumiko Mori I actually live in Yokohama, and I run a nonprofit, especially for mothers, so that no parents be isolated, and all parents can raise a child with a community. And we do many projects of that, such as running a cafe. And I couldn't imagine at all 1 year ago that I will be in Salzburg. But I'd like to start my presentation or my talk from talking to you about why I decided to apply for this. Because I was in Boston last year for just 1 month in a program for Japanese women leadership. And I saw the application of the Salzburg Global Seminar there, and I thought I have to come here. I have to go. The reason why I thought of that is because I saw in many of the nonprofits in Boston that they were using the power of human and also using the power of the technology in order to change the structure of the society that is creating many of the problems. And in Japan, it's more analog, more human-based, and that's very important. But also, I thought that we need to understand more and also make a better use of technology in order to clear many of the challenges that we are facing. And I didn't know what I will find there, but I thought I have to go in order to see what I will be able to see. So I applied. And we had, as Remo said, had an online session for 6 months. And since it was at night, I didn't have to take a leave from the job in order to attend the web online sessions. And in these 6-month online sessions, I was able to know many of the members from India and also from Japan of what they are thinking or what kind of challenges that they're facing. And that made it really easy for me to start the conversation right after the minutes that we met in Salzburg. So it was really, really nice. And I don't have a presentation, but I would like to share with you what we did in Salzburg. Oops, sorry. Can you see the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So we had a really big group for about 10 people. Remo-san had a pair of 2, but we had a pair of 10 people, and we had a lot of discussions about what we want to focus about and how we want to focus it. We had a really, really deep discussion about it. And what was really amazing for me is to find that we can really make something really exciting in just few days, although we didn't know each other a few months ago. And what we did was to make a project of a narrative kitchen, which is a lab where a story of the unheard voices are shared. And how we got there is because of this program, of this Salzburg Global Seminar, of this, the magnificence of this program was that in the first half of the program, we focus on what we have in similarities or what we have in differences between us. And also at the same time, know about our own stories. And through doing that, we were able to focus on what we have in common. And because we understand it much better, it was very quick to reach to a point where we can make such presentation and also even make a prototype in just few hours. So I won't go into details of what we were doing, but we will have our first online meeting today, actually, tonight, after coming back from Salzburg, to talk about our next steps and how we can find a fund to support our programs to go forward. And one of the things that were most memorable was, I would like to show you the picture of it. I like this picture here. And you may not know, you may not be able to imagine what this picture is talking about. To me, this picture shows me the beauty of differences of making discussions or collaborating between India and Japan. We had such a different approach. It took us half of the discussion time to talk about how we can decide. But because we were able to discuss that so much, we finally came to a point that we understand each other, why we want to do this so much. So if we did it only with Japanese people, I don't think we were able to go into that depth. And I really think the members from India to be able to talk about this in such a way. So if you attend this program, I'm sure that you'll be able to find a different approach of discussing or collaborating or innovating something that you have never experienced before. So it's really nice.
Thanks so much, Yumiko. You've put that really nicely. And actually, we've got a couple of questions now coming from the audience. And one of the questions is, someone would like to hear more about why both of you found making new connections, particularly those from India, valuable to you. So Yumiko, I think you answered that question slightly there, but if you have anything else you'd like to add, and Remo, the same question to you as well. Remo, perhaps you would like to go first.
Yes, thank you for the question. So actually, I'm working as a project manager and a social worker, and I have some expertise in special knowledge about how to support people with autism, but I don't have any backgrounds of technology. I don't have any knowledge. So it was very precious for me to this program because I have logical backgrounds, especially my partner. He is a technical engineer. So we have different backgrounds and expertise, and we can collaborate so that we can build a better new innovative solution to the problem. So I think that was the reason, the point I would like to mention.
Great, thank you. Yes, so other knowledge. And Yumiko, is there anything you would like to add to that question that you didn't mention before?
Yes, the connections between the people from India I found valuable. There's so many actually. One point that we like to add to what I said before is that I was able to find that people in the rural areas in India had a quite similar challenges that we have in Japan, although it is so different. The roots of the problems are so similar. And it was really nice to be able to hear about that from the people who has actually lived in those areas or had a research there or had friends there, and to hear their stories. And that made me very confident that what we are doing in Japan right now, in my organization, can somehow make an impact maybe in India as well. So being able to have that connection with actually living there, it gave me a really big impact for me to have that confidence.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, so learning about similarities you didn't know existed and maybe how you can have international impact instead of the area you were used to. Okay, and just the last question as well is about the level of English that you needed for participating in the program. How would you describe that, and what was your experience of the language in the program? Yumiko, you've got the mic, so why don't you answer this first, and then Remo, you can go second.
Okay, I find that from both sides, from India and Japan, that many people have different speaking levels of English, but the program made it very inclusive. So that many times, Jen and Matu, and also the other program organizer from the foundation, keep on saying that you need to speak slower because we have different levels of speaking or listening, and also be inclusive about and to have an imagination of other people's situation. And when we start talking about so many topics, we tend to forget. But we're keeping being reminded that we have to stop and keep going, because not just because of the speaking levels, but as Remo said, we had the deaf people as well. And you have to be the communication environment has to be inclusive, because we want to have as many aspects as possible. So I think that made us a lot easier, regardless of the English levels.
Yeah, thank you. Remo, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I agree with what Yumiko-san said. the program was very interactive, and although the participants had different English levels, and I myself, I am a little bit shy to speak in public, but because the program allowed us to discuss and interact with each other in different activities like ice breaking or breakout room sessions in the online sessions, and also like we even had a library, human library, that the participants can listen to the other participants' story as a book. And so like it was very like interactive, and I was able to gradually speak and exchange my thoughts with other participants. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Great, thank you, Remo. And even though you used to feel shy, now you are doing public webinars in English. So you've come a long way, and your English is very good. Great, I think we'll probably wrap up now. Thank you, Remo and Yumiko, for sharing your thoughts. Matu, would you be able to just quickly share the screen again for that last second from last slide? So the next steps for anyone interested in the Japan-India Transformative Technology Network, check out the website. There is a lot of information on there. If you have any outstanding questions, please get in touch with any of the staff members. Matu, could you go to the screen there? Perfect, thank you so much. So our emails are all on the website. You can get in touch with me, you can get in touch with Matu, you can also get in touch with any of my other colleagues working on the program who are all listed on the website, and we'll try and help you out. If you don't think the program is for you, but you think it could be for someone else, please share the information with your friends, with your colleagues, your family members. We would really appreciate that. The deadline to apply is September the 15th, so please get your applications in before then. We will not look at the applications until September 15th, so don't please expect a reply before then, but we will reply to every single person who responds, so you will receive an answer one way or another, whether that is negative or positive. So we will get back to you all to let you know. So that is the situation. So please apply, apply, apply. We want lots of people from Japan and India to be there to continue building this fantastic network. And thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. Bye.